go, boys.
Did it work? Okay. What's up, everybody? We are back for season 2 of SHOWMEZ. I am your host, Jonathan Gomez, aka Jomez. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate all of your patience. We had plenty of requests to bring SHOWMEZ back. Of course, we had to get through the holidays and all that good stuff, but we are back. Before I bring in the people that you're really here to see, I'm going to ask you to share this broadcast, hashtag SHOWMEZ. Share it with anybody that you think has been waiting on this broadcast, and we really appreciate it. Now, without further ado, let's bring in a familiar face, Mr. Nate Sexton. What's up, Nate?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm really excited to be back. I feel like it's been a lot longer than it has. I was looking back at the old broadcasts, and those really weren't that long ago when you think about it. It's just a lot has happened since we stopped doing the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, as long as there's still snacks, I'm good for it.
There's always snacks. I mean, we let you do the show from your house. You have access
True.
to whatever you want.
It's kind of on me.
All right. Well, now, without further ado, let's bring in before we do, what is the percentage? The vote on the Big Sexy, what was it?
Oh.
No.
Let's bring him in. Jeremy Koling.
Y'all are wrong for that.
Hey, we didn't do the vote. The people voted. I don't know why we're wrong for.
You're wrong for bringing it up. Well, actually, you know what? I'm kind of happy you brought it up because Nate and I were both equally surprised by how close the results were. I mean, Nate is like the disc golf poster child of saintdom. Nate could do all the things that Trump said he might do and not get in trouble for it.
No.
And he actually wouldn't get in trouble for it. Yes, it's true. You would not get impeached. Definitely not twice in your presidential. Anyways, we're not going to go political. But yeah, it was 50.001 to 49.999. It was astronomically close.
So
it was 1,800 votes for both.
So it's not wrong.
15 more votes than me.
Michael, put up Jerm's name tag thing again. So what we did was accurate.
It's 100% accurate.
Yeah.
What does it say? Significantly less than
slightly.
No, slightly.
Oh,
not significant.
Okay. It's very small on my screen. Very, very.
It's very
right,
slight.
We're getting people saying the audio's low. Let's jack it up, folks. Let's get some noise up in here.
Turn up the volume.
Let's raise the roof.
Hold on. Sorry, folks. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah,
we're working on it.
All right, here we go.
We're gonna.
Y'all ready for this?
I suppose so.
Turn down. Okay. Give us a sec. Thank you for working with us, or being patient with us through the technical difficulties.
Can you hear that?
All right, hold on. We're working on
it. If they can hear that, it means it's party time, baby. Season 2.
That's
right now. Yeah, raise the roof. Oh yeah, that's much louder.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Nate, while we are getting this audio snafu figured out, I mean, we've got a new season. We got new rules. It's gonna be different this year. So a little audio problem, no big deal. The show must go on.
That's better.
All right, we got it.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you one thing. What's going on with that beard, my man?
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for
coming or going.
It looks like it's coming, and it hasn't stopped coming.
Yeah. I mean, this is a fresh cut, man. I mean, it's a little puffy on top, but I was born with that. There's nothing I can do about that. It's been about a year, but I knew I had to come on SHOWMEZ, so I gotta make the people happy because it was, I was starting to have to wear hats to go out in public. I'll say that much.
I will say this: I had the pleasure of seeing what you looked like 4 days ago, and you look like a different man. It looked like you had been in a bunker for 8 months, and you just had the whole Ted Kaczynski Unabomber thing going on, where they found him in the cabin in the woods, and
Yeah.
no person had seen him for a while. And I want to say I am slightly disappointed. That's not the look you came here today with, but I respect the nice cut. That's all I'll say. We can move on.
Can you guys hear me okay now? Everyone was saying I was quiet. All right.
Even Christina says the volume's good, so we know it's good.
Okay. So she's the okay. We've left somebody sitting in the green room for way longer than I anticipated because of the technical issues. I hope he's still there. It looks like he's still there. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, as an actual part of the crew, like hosting, co-hosting, all that good stuff, and not necessarily the butt of a joke, Mr. Paul Ulibarri. There he is.
You know what?
Welcome.
I'm really nervous right now. And there's two things I want to point out, all right? The first is, if you pull up another one of my bad rounds and then kick me off this show, I'm going to be super mad. Super mad. The second thing is, I am very, very stoked that Nate Sexton has no part of my commentary. He is no percentage of me. I'm sorry, man, but you have to take that one all by yourself, my friend.
Dude, whatever, man. I'm like at least 60% of the Big Barri. That's just the way it goes.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Hey, man, but Sexton's got nothing on me right now.
Nothing.
No peace.
Dude, you're the people. You are the true people's champ. The way that you took that constant bashing that you got last season, and you kept on coming on the show for some stupid reason, and you kept thinking that we were going to be kind the next time around, was just epic. And you gained so much popularity with our fan base, and we figured, if you could do that, we might as well give you a shot in the booth. And you did the best you possibly could last year, and you did awesome.
Hey, who would have thought?
Congrats!
Who would have thought?
Not me.
Not me.
Not me.
Not me.
Oh,
I'm stoked, guys. This is awesome.
It feels
awesome.
so
It's good to be here.
It really is good. Thank you all for coming on to the show. It just feels great to have everyone all back together. Really, I don't think we've had everyone together. Like Nate, there was always like a mix of everyone. I'm referring to like being on tour and commentary and all that. So this feels like a good place to be. And just thinking back to last year, how things worked out. Like we started the season with Big Sexy at the Memorial, and got SHOWMEZ kicked off like in person, and then things just kind of went south pretty quick. We showed up in Waco. What was that? 2 weeks later, and then like didn't even finish the tournament. And then that's where Yuli came in. We had him there in Waco for the 2 rounds we did, and just as Yuli just making himself available, and that worked out so well. And then just kind of the way the season shut down after that, and that's where we had SHOWMEZ, and that was just like such a great time, just basically creating something out of thin air. And
well, I mean, Paul wasn't just available. There's a lot of pros out there that are available to do commentary. Being in the position to work with you and the Jomez crew is an opportunity that anybody would be foolish to turn down. Paul wasn't just available. He had the talent to maintain his position. And that's something that none of us could have done for him. He had to do that. He brought the entertainment, he brought the funny, but he also brought the insight that has always made him a great teacher, a great player, and now a great commentator. So, and that's about it for me as far as any sort of compliments or any praise. From here on out, I'm cutting you down. I'm chopping you down, Paul Bunyan style, baby.
This is not what I expected. It's
a whole new SHOWMEZ.
It is.
Whole new SHOWMEZ.
Hey, we told people
you went through rookie hazing.
Instead of just blushing embarrassment, now I'm blushing out of pure cry eyes.
Oh, how sweet!
Warm. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. You know what? Honestly, it was pretty tough. I mean, there's a lot of expectation to follow and to fill up the shoes of Nate Sexton. I know that. I mean, what a great commentator. I think we can all agree that he has his niche in the sport. And,
I saw that, Jerm.
and And to fill those shoes, I mean, there was no filling those. I had to kind of take my own route with and be myself. And I was lucky that the disc golf community kind of let me in there and allowed me to do that. So very thankful for all you guys out there. It took a long time to see those comments of we want Nate Sexton back to kind of drizzle towards the end, and I'm just very thankful for that, and I'm glad that we're gonna figure something out this year for all of us to just figure it out. I'm very stoked and very humbled.
Okay, so I get what we're doing. Jerm compliments Uli, makes him blush. Uli says something super nice about me, makes me blush. So I just want to say Jonathan's one of the best video guys I've ever seen, and the things he's able to do with SHOWMEZ and with Jomez in general absolutely blows my mind. And he's one of the all-time greats. So now that we got that out of the way, everyone's got a quick blush.
Everyone. And now I don't know why Jerm's looking up at me. Is that
because you're one of the greats.
What I was gonna say is thank you so much to Michael.
Yes.
Thank you to Michael for making this all happen. There he is. He just saved us from being derailed from the very beginning by fixing the technical issues that started from the very beginning. So thank you, Michael. And also, thank you, Jerm. The guy has been there for, I'm pretty sure, every single commentary opportunity and paired up with whoever it was that what a guy. Always there, Mr. Reliable. I know I speak for the entire fan base of JomezPro to say that we appreciate you being there. And I mean, you've paired so well with either of these two guys and been successful. I mean, you're the common denominator. Are you blushing yet?
Cal Ripken had many errors in his career, and he didn't always hit home runs or singles or anything like that, but he was there for a record number of games consecutively. And right now that's what I'm trying to do. And eventually, who knows? Maybe it'll mean something to somebody at some point.
Well, so I wanted to move on to something. I think it would be a huge missed opportunity if we didn't at least look back on one of probably the biggest highlights of BigSexyBarri as we continued the tour after SHOWMEZ, and we had a lot of just incredible moments, as you saw, like in the commentary bits and things like that we put out in the best of videos. But something that we just can't seem to not hear the end of is a particular interaction that happened during the practice round, which were amazing in themselves. I mean, we had so much fun introducing practice rounds because they were just so much fun. The gold that was captured in some of those rounds was amazing. But the thing that takes the cake is a particular. We did put Paul as an amateur zoologist for a reason as his intro to the. I don't know if anybody read that, but the gazelle, the whole gazelle bit. I mean, what? I don't know. I know you've been asked about it so many times. Jerm's leaving.
I'm coming right back.
He's got He's got the shirt. It's his gazelle shirt.
That's a real nice gazelle shirt. I'll tell you what.
All right. Well, to catch anybody up to speed that for some reason doesn't know, before we move on, let's roll the clip, Mike.
Walking around all clumsy like,
Some people have compared me to a gazelle, Paul.
A one-legged gazelle.
Yeah, been mangled
You
by
look
a
like
lion.
a gazelle.
I look like a gazelle?
Kind of with the little outfit.
Do you not know that this is a toucan?
It's a bird.
A gazelle's not a bird.
A gazelle? Did you just say that?
Yeah, a gazelle's not a bird.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what to do. Okay.
When I say gazelle, what's the first image that pops into your mind? Describe a gazelle. Like the color, the shape, maybe the texture of the fur.
Me?
Yeah, or skin, whatever it has.
Like some sort of sheep-looking
I guess like kind of horse-looking thing with wings.
With wings.
Ugh.
Never gets old. I mean, every time I see it,
It doesn't.
I
does-
laugh
It does not get old.
an equal amount. It's amazing. I don't know. I just
Right here.
yeah.
Got
Okay.
this 22, baby. I
Yeah.
got it all like within arm's reach. It's like either side of me.
I mean, I
Oh my
just,
gosh.
I would like, I would like to just go back and relive that moment like in person, but the video is just the next best thing. Cause I'll never forget like telling Jerm, like whispering to him after the interaction started. I was like, keep asking him this because something is actually happening right now. And it's not a bit. Like Yuli's not joking right now. I remember like asking about the gazelle again. Cause after he threw that shot, we walked on the fairway and it's not in the video, but I'm like, ask him about that.
Oh, I
first
had
part-
already had that planned.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Like, as soon as you looked at me, you were like this, and I was like, oh, it's in my brain right now. Like I am pressing this matter immediately. As soon as he's done throwing, I'm gonna ask him like, pretend I've never even seen a gazelle before. How would you describe it to me? What were you saying,
Okay,
Nate?
so no,
Okay.
here's what happened. I've been asked this a billion times in person, so I'll just let everybody know now. I'll set the record straight. He asked me, I looked at his stupid shirt, and all I could think was like of those with those
Pegasus.
the white birds with the
Pegasus.
one leg, how they like
Oh.
yeah, so whatever that thing is. And then I really thought that. And so on the walk down, I'm like, okay, something's fishy here. They're trying to get me to go somewhere. So then I'm like, oh, I think I know what it is. And that's like halfway down there when I was like, with wings, is like I had finally figured out how stupid I was. And then that's why we had the great laugh, is because I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, you got me. You got me good.
Oh man.
I thought it was
I
a
think
bird.
I think that first part, just like where it's kind of happening and Jerm is like acknowledging the camera is like, it's like as good as The Office. Like it's like it reminds me so much of like Michael Scott is like saying something crazy and Jim sitting there like, oh, you know, like looking pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like how it hops back and forth. It's like and the fact that it's, you know, I know you guys, so it's just like everybody. I feel like it's easy, obviously, to jump on Yuli for this, but it's like I love thinking about like what's the dumbest thing that all of us just has no idea about, because there's something that's just slipped through the cracks for you your entire life, and Yuli's came out that day on camera, but like all of us have something that we're just totally clueless about, and you have no idea because you think you know it, and it seems obvious to you. That's a bird with one leg, of course, a gazelle. Yeah, I've always known that. But then it's like we were so lucky to have that moment like happen on camera, because it could happen to any of us where it's just like some word you thought you knew what it meant, and it's the opposite of that, and you just have no idea your whole life sometimes.
Here's the thing. I said I was nervous coming into this show for this exact reason. We're still got the little jokes coming my way.
Well,
I'm saying it could happen to anybody.
What
No,
animal
I
is
know,
it?
I know.
What is it?
It's a toucan, you said. It's a toucan.
yeah,
I
he
just
knows
saw
it because he's seen the clip many times afterwards.
Thousands
He can't forget.
and thousands of
Okay.
times.
Well, again, Yuli, that really wasn't the reason. Like this, that really wasn't supposed to be like why you came back on. Obviously,
Some long
there was-
con.
yeah, that would have been
don't have to lie
really
to
good
me,
if
man.
that
I'm
was.
good, I'm good.
You're allowed to stay even after all this when we move on. But the reason we brought it up is because we have a very special release to announce right now. We had the gazelle shirts, like Jerm showed you, not the one with the toucan on it, the actual gazelle shirts that we made, and those, you know, people still couldn't help but say, we need a disc. Like, where's the gazelle disc? And obviously, we can't make a gazelle disc. That's already a thing. But we did go ahead and get some artwork done, some brand new, fresh artwork. Look at these things.
Oh, I love it.
Now those are
Oh,
pretty smooth.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh! It is a
So-
gazelle Ulibarri in its natural habitat,
Yeah.
flying through the sky.
Just
the clouds.
flying one leg, Just one leg
Yeah,
flying
one
out there,
leg, like,
balancing.
just as they
so
exist in
majestic.
nature.
The
So
crazy
go ahead,
thing,
Mike.
I think the craziest part about the whole thing is that the whole thing started because Yuli said, "Hey, you kind of look like a gazelle" to Jerm, and that looks exactly like Jerm. Like that art looks exactly like Jerm. It's crazy. It's crazy how right he was and how wrong he was at the same time.
So again,
Just
just to let everyone know, these are dropping tomorrow, as you see on the screen now. Tomorrow at JomezPro.com. Patreon supporters and the email subscribers get first dibs. They get the notification of when these items drop, and then of course whatever's available after the initial rush is going to be available to the public at JomezPro.com. So get over there. You now have your ways of getting the early access tomorrow. Those are coming out. We're really excited. Just one more time, these are going to be on a limited number of Discraft zones, the swirly ESP zones.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what Yuli says about
literally
zones?
Looks just like me. It's crazy.
Wait, is
Yeah,
it Yuli that has
crazy.
an opinion about zones or Jerm? Who was it that? Oh, it was Jerm at that same practice round.
Look, I've been called out. Yeah, it was the same practice round. Look, all I was saying, Paul has great touch with the forehand, just not with the zone because you don't need touch with the forehand in the zone. I mean, just that was all I was saying.
And Innova Star Wraiths. These things are just beautiful.
Sorry.
So
guy
tomorrow,
right here.
JomezPro.com. Oh man! All right. Well, Yuli, you're off the hot seat. Thank you for letting us relive that one more time. I'm sure it'll still happen again, but not on SHOWMEZ anyways. So
Hey, I love it, man.
yeah. So moving on, we actually wanted to congratulate Ezra Robinson.
Adderhold.
Adderhold. I was thinking of the other. I was looking at another sponsorship thing. I'm sorry, Ezra Adderhold, for
Congrats
announcing
to
his. Yeah. Go ahead.
him as well. I was gonna say Ezra Robinson as well, wherever he is. Congrats, bud.
Ezra Adderhold, Mr. Team Captain here for Discraft, has gained a new member.
Oh yeah,
Good
man.
land.
We're super stoked to have him. I had a couple quotes about him, and one of the things is I just love how he does everything. You know, everything the right way. He's obviously a great player, but you know, just coming into the sport, he's just made a huge splash. And like the guy doesn't. I've never seen him do one thing that was outside the box. You know what I mean? Like he's always tight knit, buttoned up all the way to the top, and I just love that about him. We're super lucky to have gained him because I mean the sky's the limit for this guy.
Yeah, so we that just kind of got me thinking about how sponsorships have kind of evolved pretty quickly over through 2020. I mean, Ezra went through all of 2020 without a manufacturer sponsor. He was sponsored by OTB Discs, but he went through. I know it wasn't a complete season, but a good amount of events without that. So of course everyone was wondering like, what's he going to do? Is he going to do that again, or is he finally going to commit to something? So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of get you guys' thoughts on how that the whole element of sponsorship, especially with two team captains here. Nate being the team captain of Innova and Yuli of Discraft.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy year. I missed most of it. So I've barely even met Ezra yet, I'm looking forward to it. I got to talk to him a little bit in Winthrop. I've seen some of his YouTube stuff. He seems like a great dude and super talented, but some of the guys that are super new on the tour, I barely even got a chance to see those guys. But yeah, absolutely. I think, in a year like that where, everything was shortened up and you couldn't really lean on performance and statistics as much as you might usually be able to and say, hey, this is how this person played, because at the end of the day, you can't really fault somebody for making a decision one way or the other, like somebody going out and doing it or somebody not being willing to roll the dice and go and be on the tour, So it was sort of weird year that way. And I think it's just kind of pushed social media even more to be even more important than it already was, which it already was really important. But I feel like that's even more on the rise now, because it's something you can control outside of just like make more putts, win more. Obviously, that's the goal for every player, but only one guy gets to win every week, So it's like you can affect the brands you try to represent and your own personal brand so much more consistently through content creation.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, like,
What? Oh, go ahead.
Go for it, Paul.
No, I was just gonna say, before I came on the show, I was just curious to see. I know that over the last couple of years, there's so many like better players, obviously. So I just took a quick little peek at the. Pardon me, this thing just went out. I took a quick little peek at the PDGA to see how many 20 to 1,015 rated players there are, and I counted 140. That's a lot of good players.
What are you saying?
Between 1015 and 1020?
Between 1030 or 1050, whoever the highest rated guy is, and 1015.
Down to 1015.
There's down to 1015. There's 140 people right around there, and probably close to 100 after that are right at the 1,000 to that mark, and that's just unheard of. Like, so you have to figure out a way to separate yourself from the field, and for somebody especially like Ezra, who didn't have a sponsor, and of course playing well, you're going to do that, but right away when he kind of splashed onto the scene, you kind of already had like a little in-depth from the things that he was doing of who this guy kind of was. You knew that he threw far. He did some of those challenges, right, that were really impressive. And that just like speaks to like how, like you said, how important it is and how important it's getting to where like somebody like that, no sponsorship. I think he wasn't even 1,000 rated at the time. And then now, he's signing a nice big deal this year. And that all has to do with all that stuff, just with his play. I mean, that maybe people think, or manufacturers think about him a bit different, but when he comes with the full package, like this guy's doing everything. And he's a great guy on top of it. I mean, that helps you. I think that the rest of the world, if you're a kid out there and you want sponsorship, like look at him as an example of a way that you can really impact the game.
It's wild because like I would say 3, maybe 4 years ago, if a young player came up in the sport and like kind of did something to get recognition like early on, and then they went to the manufacturers and said, "Hey, I want a big sponsorship," I think a player like any of the 3 of us who have been around for a long time could have looked at him and be like, "Hey, you haven't won anything. You need to chill out." But that's different now. It's not like that. Like those opportunities are now present for up and coming players, and it says a lot about the sport and how fast and how massively we've grown in just a few years, and how the sponsorship from the manufacturer level down to the shop sponsor level has just changed the whole scope of the sport across the board. And players can come in now relatively young, relatively unproven as far as like actually winning championships on the major stage, and say, "Hey, my value is great. Look what I'm doing." Not only do people already talk about me, but now I've got my own YouTube channel. I've got a lot of followers, and now I'm building a brand. I mean, like, if Ezra didn't have a successful YouTube channel, his brand would already be the fact that he's like the only super ripped disc golfer that we've had on tour. Like, the guy has an image that is unseen before in our sport. We've been talking about it for a long time. Like, when are we going to get a super athlete, even more so than Paul Ulibarri, who was pretty much the pinnacle of our sports athleticism up until Ezra coming in. But like, it's unusual. Like a lot of times, like conventional wisdom has been like more muscles. It kind of like slows you down in our sport. We're a sport that like emphasizes the quick twitch muscles, and a lot of times that benefits the long gangly players like me when I was in my 20s, and like Scott Stokely, Ken Climo, Barry Schultz, like those guys, the long, tall, lanky guys had an advantage, and the stockier muscle guys never really had the same distance. He's somehow managing to like bring that power and that flexibility together to put those together. I mean, and like Nate was saying just a little while ago, like we didn't know who this guy was coming into the season. I played with him for the first time the week after he shot like 1070 or 1080 to win an A tier. It was his first win, and I was super excited. I played with him at D-Glow, and he threw a mid-range farther than I threw my driver, and I was just like, and I threw a good shot, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'd get it now. And he didn't look like he put zero effort into it. So like, that kind of recognition is going to get people talking. And that is how you separate yourself. You have to do something. It doesn't have to be distance, but it has to be something. And that's how
You have to
you
be
show your value.
you have to be beautiful and jacked. And then you're fine. Everything's easy after that.
The Yuli's autobiography. Just he's beautiful and jacked, and it's been an easy ride. The Yuli story.
So my question to you guys, I mean, we have an outstanding resource here. We have literally the two team captains of the two largest manufacturers in the sport, Discraft and Innova, and you guys represent the talent pool for the biggest brands in the sport. And so you have a very big responsibility to weed through that and select, hey, this is who we want to represent our company in a time where there's been more talent in this talent pool than ever before. So I know, Yuli, you're heavy on social media, but like Nate and Yuli, what other things besides social media, which is obviously very important this day and age, are you looking for to like really establish some credibility and recognition?
I mean, it's a long list, but I think somebody who is showing a commitment to the game, who's talented, obviously, being a great player is super important, but just somebody who wants to be associated with Innova. You know, it's like in my opinion, that's really big for us, is just like, do we get the feel that this person's like, you know, shopping every single company? Or are they like attracted to Innova discs because they like the product and they really want to be throwing it and they're a great player, you know? And that's important for us. Just that, like, it isn't just like, how many dollars can you pay me? And I've never even tried a destroyer before, but I'll figure it out. You know, definitely much prefer somebody who's like choosing the product, you know, choosing to come our way because they love the discs. And then, you know, obviously then they have that fan following, or they have that potential, and they have that personability. What, you know, that's becoming, with social media, the personability thing is becoming more and more important, I think, because you can become a fan favorite in a whole lot of ways. It's not only done by just lifting trophies.
And weights
helps.
You know, those are all great points. I think for me, a lot of it has to do with how you did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, like, I've always been just the ultimate grinder, like worked my butt off. And when I see that in somebody else, like, I feel like that hard work always pays off. And so if I see somebody doing all of the things and going the extra mile, I mean, that's one of the things that I'm like, I look at the talent level, of course, but hard work can beat talent. You know what I mean? And I really believe that. And so, like, somebody who's always grinding, who's always putting their foot in the door, trying to get better in every aspect, like, that's one of the things that I look for. You know, of course, you can have the most talent in the world and you're going to get signed to anywhere. That's just the way sports are. Like, in any sport, like, they buy talent. That's what they do. They buy potential. And for me, you know, I've always been a big advocate of, sure, you can be talented, but what's your work ethic? You know what I mean? Because both of those things put together, that's when you get the Paul Macbeths and the Ricky Wysockis and the Ken Climos. You know what I mean? The people who not only do they have the talent, but they're willing to go the extra mile. And so that's one of the big things. And you don't have to be 1050 rated. You know what I mean? Like, one of the great examples that I like to use is Brian Earhart, because that guy, he works really hard. I just said that there is 140 people at the highest rated 1054. I don't know what the last update was for the top guys. Let's say I think it's Ricky now.
All right.
From him all the way down to 1015. I'm not sure what Brian's is, but I think it's right around the very bottom. So he's a household name. Like, everybody knows him because he puts himself out there. He's hitting these aces like every year. He might not be winning tournaments, but he's figuring out a way to be seen. And not only that, he has his podcast. He does commentary. He's doing clinics. Like, he's out there getting it. So this guy all of a sudden is, like I said, a household name, and he hasn't won a national tour or pro tour. You see what I'm saying? And he's put himself ahead of a lot of the, like, 140 people. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I look for, is somebody who's like that, because you don't have to be Paul Macbeth, you know. It helps, obviously. I wish I
Yeah.
could play like that, but
you've only got a couple of generational players that come every generation, right? And so like that's not obviously those guys are going to find their way to the top and they're going to get recognition. But like what you're saying, for me, there's two things you guys haven't mentioned, and that is one, word of mouth. So like finding somebody like an up and coming player through like, hey, like through a trusted source, right? So like, hey, you need to check this guy out. He's got something special. And the other thing, and this goes back to like my basketball days. I know that Paul, you spent a lot of time on the courts, and maybe with ultimate frisbee or soccer for you, Nate, but like actually passing the eye test, seeing them in person. Like when I went onto the courts when I was like 18 to like 25, around that age, I could watch a person bounce a basketball on the court, dribble basketball on the court 3 or 4 times and see just their swag and their charisma. And I could tell right there on the spot whether or not that person, I wanted them on my team. You know, were they cocky? Were they like just smooth? Something about like the body language of a confident athlete reigns like very obvious for me. And so like when I'm looking out there for up and coming talent, not that I'm the team captain, but like, you know, I think that it's very important to always be looking for that kind of stuff. Like I'm looking for that, and that natural competitive strive, or that drive to strive to be the best, is something that like I think I can recognize, because I think the three of us have that, and we can also recognize when other people share that passion and that fire. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, you know. Like the scope of the sport has changed so much that there's always new ways to brand yourself. And you know, obviously these are the two guys wherever. Yeah, I don't remember how to.
Oh, now.
These two
There
guys.
we go. I made
here,
it easier to point at them.
Thank you. That's easy. That's up. But yeah, it's good stuff.
Awesome. Well, I want to take a quick break to let all of you know. Thank you to all 2,400 of you watching with us live right now. We appreciate it. Thanks for getting in on the chat. A lot of good things going on. Thank you for the super chats. I wanted to let everyone know that the super chats for this season 2 of SHOWMEZ, all of the proceeds from super chats are going to go to our Starframe initiative. So we're getting an early start on Starframe before the season starts. So so we appreciate those rolling in, and that's all going to go to a good cause, which is Edge Disc Golf, educational disc golf. You know, we've been partnered with them for a couple of years now, and we look forward to a solid year with them. And I'm glad that you guys, even before I mentioned it, there was already a good amount of them coming in. So now you know that they're all for this season of JomezPro is gonna go to help grow the sport and the younger generations of disc golf. So, and also to all of you, we have another special product. It's not a gazelle disc, but we do have some special edition SHOWMEZ shirts that are I'm pretty excited about them.
Ooh.
Let's take a look at them, Mike.
Oh, sweet.
Yo.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, so we they're like in a nice appropriately themed 80s type of a wash tee. And those are the pre-orders of those is gonna start tomorrow. So check out JomezPro.com/SHOWMEZ. And a lot of good things going on the website tomorrow.
What does it say on the sleeve?
Oh, it says SHOWMEZ, not about disc golf, with the asterisk, and you can't really tell in there. You'll be able to see on the website, and on the asterisk on the sleeve says sometimes it's about disc golf. So it's just kind of a goofy little thing, but yeah, I'm excited about them. I know I love shirts like that, like in that wash type material. So
dude, I can't wait to rock that. That thing is awesome. I love the 80s theme.
Yeah, we've really embraced it here on SHOWMEZ. I'm not sure where it came from. That's a little tease to the end of the show, as you see here. But moving on to the next topic, just kind of talking about some of these players and the season that we just came out of and how unique it was. I want to shout out to Thomas Gilbert for bringing up in our call for some topics. Thomas Gilbert brought up how we anticipate the way that the restrictions are now how it might affect the start of the touring season as we look forward to starting the first event would be the Disc Golf Pro Tour, who is now running the Las Vegas Challenge.
I think honestly the best thing you can do is not anticipate at this point. I think if we learn anything from last year, it's that we live in a completely different world now, and who knows, so I really hope that we're able to, move forward and do everything like we want to plan on doing, but at the same time, we have to be ready to where if we're not able to do that, and that's just a sad truth at this point.
Yeah, man, I'm so torn on it because it's like Vegas, especially, having snuck in there and won that thing last year. I just was so sure that it would be all good by now. If I think back to my previous self, like 8 or 9 months ago. And I want to go so bad to like be back out there and revel in the it's always fun to be defending champion. You don't get that many chances at a big event like that to come back and strut your stuff and go, hey, kiss babies. Obviously not COVID times. I guess the baby kissing's off the table, but it used to be a baby kissing gig, so it was an honorable thing. Yeah, man. So it's like, I'm so torn because it's like, part of me is like, yeah, I've been out on the sidelines so long and I took a couple, calculated risks last year, but also like the numbers are kind of worse than ever. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's like, I just want to get back out there and be with you guys. But it's like, at the same time, I'm like, okay, so I sat out last year and now the numbers are worse. And now all of a sudden I'm going to come back. That doesn't make any sense either. So I don't know what to do. I just want to be back. I want my vaccine. I want everyone to get their vaccine, and I want to move on from this. But I literally don't know what to expect, and I don't know how I don't know what to do. It's really hard.
It's so weird to like be in this position now where we're less than we're about a month away from hitting the road, right? So we're like right at that go time where it's like, okay, we already have our schedules pretty much lined up. We're ready to go. We're making these plans. And it's like, you're making these plans for something that's so uncertain. In the past, it's always been so certain. Like even going obviously into 2020, we had no idea that COVID was going to hit us the way it did. And so we were like, totally like our plan, our schedule, no way it's going to get derailed. It never has before. And even when it started to come over to the States, like I remember certainly thinking like, well, good thing disc golf is in the position where it's in. We're not like one of the major 5 sports. We're counterculture. It's not going to really affect us or our tour. And then boom, second big tournament of the year, or I guess third, like ends in 2 rounds instead of 3. You're going home, and then it's indefinite. We don't even know when we're coming back, and it's just like totally threw a screw in the whole thing. And so it's like, all right, well, 2021. Okay, I know what my schedule looks like, I guess, but do I really? Like cases are still spiking higher than they ever have. We've got a new mandate in Mecklenburg County here in Charlotte where like we are not supposed to leave unless it's mandatory. I mean, like we're supposed to work from home. It's just basically like March. It's basically like original quarantine. So like, how am I supposed to take that with any sort of certainty that, going to Europe, going to Norway, a country I've never been to before, going back to the European Open, how, like, come on, like I want to plan on that. I want to register for that event as soon as registration opens, but it doesn't mean I can bank on it, and it's such a weird feeling.
There's one thing that I definitely want to bring up, and something that I'm actually really proud of, and that's how well, Jeff Spring and the crew and the PDGA really like took care of this last year, and we were able to do the tour, and through that tour, like I don't think we had. Did we have any cases? Like, I don't remember them. I don't remember somebody and if they did, they stayed out of it. You know what I mean? Because like it wasn't a thing on our tour, and that is incredible. So hats off to them for doing a great job, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
I take my hat off. The last person that added a super chat said, "Don't take your hat off again." So, hats off. Tip of the hat to you, sir. Okay. All right. Anyway, sorry, Nate. You're gonna say something better.
No, I mean, just this. I've said this in a lot of places. It just that the whole tour went a lot better than I thought it would. You know, I was expecting a way more of like, well, you know, Macbeth got it, you know, or whatever, you know, and it shut the whole thing down. And like, you know, at the beginning, I remember thinking like, why are they forcing this to happen in this moment, you know? And I still, honestly, I still get that feeling sometimes. But I also understand that, like, you know, so many people's livelihoods are rolled into this machine that's rolling along. That's the disc golf tour. And yeah, you know, I just hope we can have another great year, you know, and I think we will.
And, you know, it's like one of those things where it's like we've got the Kyle Kleins, the Ezra Adderholds, the Kevin Jones, the, you know, the Eagle McMahons, the guys who are like, I mean, some of those guys aren't even 20 yet. Kyle isn't, at least. You know, whatever happens for like this year, last year, and maybe, you know, like who knows how bad this could possibly get. But like, it's not, they can't be feeling any sort of sense of like urgency, because like their only urgency is they just have so much drive to want to go play and compete that's like what, for us, we've got something else going on. We got Father Time on our, you know, not on our side anymore. Like, you know, you're coming up on 36. I'm going to be 36 at the end of the year. And Paul, you're going to be 33 this year. Right. So like,
I feel so young right now.
I feel rested because we didn't have a strenuous 2020 season, but you know, like, I don't know, man. It's a bummer because like I want to take these years when I know I don't have many like full blown touring years left in me, and I want to take advantage of these times, because these are the times that I'm going to look back at when I'm 40, 50, 60 years old and be like, that was the time of my life, you know. And I really, it's you know, it's a bummer for everyone, but in certain sense, it's more hurtful to these guys who are at the tail end of their like peak seasons in their career, you know. It's I don't know. It's something to think about. Something I think about.
Yeah, I mean,
I at least have 4 years till I'm 36, so I'm pretty good, you know, pretty healthy, really.
It's so funny that
strong, like,
it's so funny that you say that, because like I've
youthful.
I've definitely done that, like watching an interview of somebody, you know, I don't even know who, like Gary Vee or somebody. He's like, I'm doing all this and I just started when I was 40, and then I think, yeah, I got like 6 years until then. I'm good. But that's like an awful attitude to have, because then it's just going to be like you wasting, and before you know it, 6 years has passed. And you're like, well, crap, now now it's a good time to start. That's just funny that you mentioned that, because I've definitely done that and like have to stop myself, because it's like not the right way to think about it. But I'm definitely the same way. I definitely feel, you know, what Jerm's saying. You know, you guys are players and talk about you only have so many years left and whatever. But I feel that too, because like I'm carrying a 10-pound camera around for miles and miles every year, and I'm like, yeah, my chiropractor visits get a little bit more frequent every year, because it's just like, they tell me like your back doesn't get any better as you get older. So shout out to everyone that goes to chiropractors, because I'm definitely a believer in getting my back aligned as often as I can.
For sure.
I feel like I've been carrying around 10 pounds, and that's just from that age catching up to me. That ain't the camera, so maybe a natural 10 of those those French fries.
Got a natural 10.
A little salad on the side instead.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm trying to think really quickly. What is like your guys' go-to on, like, I'm trying to think, like, if we're doing commentary and if you bring food, just like, you know, after the round between there and commentary, what are you guys like reaching for? I'm trying to.
Sunflower seeds.
Well, naturally, sunflower seeds.
Oh God, don't bring that up again.
A lot's changed.
Oh, dude.
A lot has changed.
Well,
sunflower seeds.
God, you're such a dork. I like what I like. I don't know. I don't think there's a go-to for me. I mean, like, you know, trail mix, since that was last year's Munch Madness winner. Trail mix, baby, all the time. Just validate our decision. You know, definitely not
right after the round on our way to do commentary.
Yeah, I'm just like, when you're talking about like the reason you might be feeling 10 more pounds, like there's probably something to attribute to that. Like, what is it that's like you shouldn't be doing, but you're doing because it's easy on the road?
I can't
That's-
really. I've eaten
Chipotle,
so healthy.
Paul.
Oh, so healthy.
Chipotle.
Chipotle. Yeah,
Chipotle.
I love Chipotle.
Yep.
I love it. Yeah, it's not good. Not a good addiction.
My man's is a burrito connoisseur. That dude. I thought I had more burritos than anyone else on tour, and this dude proved me I was dead wrong. This guy is He's actually eating a burrito right now. Like it's.
I was sneaking over here for a burrito.
I feel like ours for the crew is like Chick-fil-A, because everyone, like, I can right now, I could instead of texting everyone, hey, what do you want? Like all 8 of us, I could go to Chick-fil-A and I could tell you what every person on the crew would eat. And Chick-fil-A is kind of hard to screw up because it's like, even if they don't get your order right, but for the most part, it's like, oh, it's fine. I like nuggets. I ordered a sandwich, but it's all good. Like most people are just like, whatever. That and like pizza,
unless they forget the sauce, and then it's just nightmare.
What's the
It's
point?
a nightmare situation.
What even
with
is the point of
Chick-fil-A.
even Chick-fil-A if you don't get your sauce?
I've thrown it away. I literally have no
Oh
sauce.
my God, come on. So
There's
dramatic.
Jonathan, do not get this man started on ordering food. This guy had a whole Instagram. This is true, folks. This is something that this is like the in-depth, this is like deep cuts with SHOWMEZ. This man right here had his own Instagram account that was just dedicated to miss orders from restaurants. It got so bad that nobody believed him because he kept saying, they got it wrong again. I ordered French fries and they gave me fried rice. You're like, what? What? How would that even happen? This dude, I've legitimately had like 1,000 meals with this guy, and they just, it's like an 85% mistake to 15% getting it right ratio now. Like this guy does not get his food correct at restaurants. It's wild.
It's not a normal thing too. It's not like I'm ordering chicken and I'm getting like fried chicken or even beef. Like I'm getting Doritos. Like I'm ordering chicken and I'm getting like Doritos. You know what I mean? They like bring me a bag of Doritos. I'm like, I ordered a 13. Like in that, you think that that's like drama, like, or I'm being dramatic, but I'm not kidding you. Like I have legitimately ordered. One time I ordered refried beans and they at a Mexican restaurant and they brought me French fries. And then they told me they don't even have refried beans. Not kidding. I got kicked out of the restaurant. That happened this
First
year.
off, why did you say Breens? Where did Breens come from? You said it twice. It wasn't like the first time I was like, I'm gonna let this one go. Then you said it a second time, and that was weird. But like,
I think because I was like kind of giggling at the same time, but I really wanted to get it out, so it's Breens. It was awful though. Literally, I wanted refried Breens, and they brought me French fries.
Breens.
I think I'm starting to realize why they're getting the orders wrong.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
You mean to say that they're bringing you the wrong food?
Yeah, that sounds exactly like French fries. Thanks, thank you. No, I get mad about it. At this point in my life, because people are like, this is what I get. Like, it's not that bad. I get mine messed up all the time. And I'm like, have it happen 80 times, 80% of the time in your lifetime. And then come to me with your complaints because it's 80. Like you can see that I'm getting a little heated now.
Yeah, I can tell your face is getting kind of red. It looks like a kidney bean.
It's not a it's not a joke. It's not a joke anymore. All right, I'm turn this off.
If you asked your waiter to bring you some fries, I can imagine why they get that confused.
I never ordered fries. Fries were never said.
Oh my God.
I didn't think this would turn into this. This is amazing. But it's so true. I actually feel bad for the guy.
If you guys make a freaking Breen shirt, I'm gonna quit it. I'm gonna quit disc golf.
Oh my gosh.
I'm quitting disc golf. I swear. Do it. Bet right now. Test me.
Dude, this guy could order a sweet tea and they're gonna bring him a bag of jelly beans, I swear.
It's the craziest thing every time, man. It's nuts.
Oh my
I'm sorry.
gosh.
I'm sorry to the fans out there for what they're going through right now.
Yeah, that was very off topic. I didn't put that on the bottom little status, the topic bar. Breens wasn't one of the things that.
Hey, I'm always good
That's
for
the
it,
X
man. You
factor.
just bring me on. I'm a product maker.
That's
Bring him
true.
on the show.
Yeah, we'll bring him on. But
bring
yeah,
me
this
anytime.
is
Bring
proof
me
that
anytime.
Yuli just
God.
is able
All right,
just
guys.
to make
Once you guys
products out of.
mispronounce a word, I'm on you. I'm on you.
You should be.
Don't ever do it. I
should
am.
be.
Mispronounce a
laser
word
focused right now.
or misidentify an animal or anything,
my
he's
God.
gonna be ready.
He should be.
Ready.
He should be. Oh my gosh! All right.
Speaking of Bree, yeah, that's Nate's wife's name. I'm sorry, Nate. You didn't even get a word in edgewise through that entire conversation.
I'm all right. I don't know that I had anything to add.
Okay, well, moving on. Thank you for everyone that's
Chest.
20. We're over 2,400. Very, very appreciative of everyone that's along with us in this season premiere of SHOWMEZ. All right. Hashtag SHOWMEZ if you still feel like it. We still got a couple more things coming your way. Next up in the topic list is another one suggested in the social feeds today, and I believe it was phrased something along the lines of, what order, if any, would you put the 4 people that are on SHOWMEZ right now as to be when they would be inducted into the Hall of Fame? What order, if at all?
Put us on the spot, dude. What?
I thought it was a great topic.
What?
Well, I hope let's just get this out of the way. I hope all you guys follow me in.
Okay.
You know?
Really
No,
appreciate that.
I hope all 4 of us would be so lucky. That would be amazing. I don't know.
It
I
would.
mean, it's a long way off, I think, for all of us. But man, that would be a big honor. I won't lie and say that I haven't dreamt of achieving that. And I know Yuli has too. We've talked about that being a goal and something that like could be kind of like the ribbon on top of a life spent, traveling around and throwing these things. So I hope we all get there, and I think we might. I don't know. We're kind of getting good at this stuff. I hope it comes down that way.
Yeah, I mean, just like I get chills just thinking about that stuff, because that, like you said, that's not just like something to take lightly. You know what I mean? Like, that's the honor of all honors in any sport, and to even, I'm 32. I'm so much younger than you guys. So just to be in this conversation right now just feels so good. It's so right.
Yeah, totally.
So
to be recognized.
No, like I remember coming into the sport and Hall of Fame Classic over there and watching all those guys get inducted and stuff and listening to their, speeches and everything. And just, you're a kid and just like, imagining, because that's what you do is imagine, like, wow, someday maybe if I do everything right, that could be a thing. And it just takes, we got a long ways to go, guys. We got a long ways to go to even start thinking about it. But we already had half a lifetime doing this thing, so we put in a lot of time, and that's what it takes, So I'm gonna keep working my butt off to eventually even have a shot at it. Would be incredible.
Yeah, I think the thing that gets me in a little trouble is I'm the oldest, and you guys have both played more tournaments than I have in your lives. So, and I started playing first. So you guys are grinding at a level that I'm not capable of.
You could be like Ken Climo and get inducted after your 4th world title. I mean, not that you would win 4 world titles at this point from your career, but maybe. I'm not going to rule it out. But
if I do that, then of course I'm going to make the Hall of Fame. If I can manage to squeak out just 4 more titles, that's all I'm looking for. 4 more.
I guess what I'm saying is it's the induction process. It's gone through a lot of different changes, right? So like a lot of disc golf initially was on was based on like the foundation of the sport. So like a lot of the people that are inducted now are people that were integral in promoting the sport, running big events, and that were there from the beginning. We haven't really got to the part of the sport where the majority of people being inducted were inducted purely on outstanding play alone. Now, there are obviously players in the Hall of Fame that are in there for that reason, but the majority of it is still not quite leaning that direction. It's just so bizarre to think that Climo, before he had even reached halfway through his prime, like he was still like mid 20s maybe when he got into the Hall of Fame after 4 world titles, 4 of 12 world titles. And I remember that actually I've had that conversation with him, and I think we've talked about this with him, Paul, that he actually was pretty ticked off about it. He's like, dude, like, what do I have to strive for? You know, I mean, like, for me personally speaking, like, it was my first goal before I even had played a disc golf tournament. I didn't even know what I was going to do with disc golf, but for some reason, I wasn't even sure if there was a disc golf Hall of Fame. But for me, the very first goal I had in the sport was disc golf Hall of Fame, because I was so connected to it from the very first round that I knew it was going to be a part of my life. And if I had been given the Hall of Fame, like after like 5 years of working hard, who knows if I would have kept going hard and like I would accomplish my peak goal. You know, and it's actually a huge testament to Climo's intensity that he was able to grind out another 8 world titles and 2 or 3 or 4 more Masters world titles. Like, I mean, talk about GOAT status about Macbeth all the time. That dude's still GOAT, and you're wrong if you don't agree. That's just the way it is. That's it.
Well said, dude.
Well said, homie. Yeah, get out of your phone. Yeah, I mean,
Jonathan?
I think, yeah. Jonathan? Oh my gosh, yeah.
Jonathan, give me a little bump, buddy. Yeah, my dude.
Yeah, but
I think I did.
Speaking from my perspective, where I feel like media guys are like, that doesn't even seem like something that would be synonymous or in the same sentence as like Hall of Fame and stuff. It's like, it's crazy to see when people, and it's very flattering, and I you know, to see when people get these debates going and they'll tag us and things like that. I just can't even imagine. Like, it's certainly not something that we set out and we're striving for. We want to come out here and do the best job we can, and it's just like awesome to see that people even think that is like that. I think I saw a comment that said something about JomezPro would be first in the cameraman wing of the Hall of Fame or something. So it's just funny because I think that other sports do kind of do, you know, different classifications almost. Like, I don't know, but that's kind of what I thought. Like,
I mean, I don't know, man. It's like our sport, the way that, I mean, we're lucky to have you on my podcast coming up, but we just had Ian as well from Central Coast. And it's like the way that media evolved in our sport, to me, feels so organic that it's not the same thing as like, this guy was such a great baseball broadcaster and he was paid to be a baseball broadcaster from the beginning, and baseball was already huge. You know, like, I don't know, you guys and Central Coast and McFly So High and everybody else that brought this YouTube thing out had such a big role in growing the sport in a way that media in the traditional sports, at least where they exist now, I don't think you can give media as much credit as you can give to you guys for pushing the envelope and changing the way things were done and changing the awareness around what we do. So,
Absolutely.
you know, I think, you know, I don't get a vote. You got to get in the hall first.
Yeah.
But if I had a vote, you know, I would send you and Ian in there, man. I mean, it doesn't, I don't think it needs to be in a separate part of the Hall of Fame. It's just, this is disc golf. It's not playing disc golf. It's just disc golf. It's more than just playing.
I mean, that's exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about it's foundational, and like, what's more foundational than the promotion of the sport in the most popular capacity, which is through YouTube right now. Like, that's clearly how the sport is getting seen by the most people right now. And it's, I mean, there were other people before you and there will be many people after, and most of those people are going to copycat what you've done and what the team has done. Not just you, but like people like Mike and like Jerry, who's been there from the very beginning. Juan, who's just killing it with social media. You know, we got Kevin and Brian and so many people around the country that come in and help out. And we got Ryan Vanderberg, who's killing it and doing stuff like with the ESPN and CBS Sports stuff. The crew is so talented that like that if that doesn't deserve its own recognition, like I just would be completely astonishing, because it is truly revolutionary in our sport, and it's got to be acknowledged. And you know, that question is it's always a little bit awkward, because it's something that we all want so bad. It's something that's so important to us, but there's also important people that didn't make it. There's some people that deserve to be in there that aren't in there.
Yeah, and they're all ahead of us in line. That's for sure.
That's
they're
right.
all
That's
way
right.
ahead of us.
Yep.
Before we move past that to what you're talking about, sorry, I just want to make sure, like, to make it clear that, like, if we were ever on the ballot, it better be because guys like Terry Miller, like, were in there first, because it's so important to give credit. And there's people before that. I mean, we're talking like, what was it called? Disc Golf Monthly. What'd you say?
Yeah, there's Disc Golf Monthly, but
Disc Golf Monthly.
Tourism and furtherance.
Yeah, exactly. And
you got Billy Crump, baby.
Yeah,
OG.
Billy Crump, and like when I got into disc golf, it was because of Disc Golf Planet. Like Disc Golf Planet was the live thing at the time, and John Dusler and his whole team, Terry Roddy. Like, there's so many that like, and then you can go back and watch the VHSs from the 90s and before that, and those people were. It makes me wonder, like, what happened? Like, they already had it. They had full productions, and they had backing from whoever. And, like, it's crazy to see the different iterations of it, and that we just happen to be so fortunate to have followed in their footsteps, and that we had YouTube and we had social media, and that it was easier for it to stick. Like, we didn't have to make a DVD or a VHS, and people had to wait 6 months to get it and all that, where maybe it just wasn't quite as impactful. So it's certainly, like I said, if we're on the ballot, there better be quite a few names in media that are in there before us.
Here's one you didn't say, and this one was big when I first started playing in 06. Carl Cubbage, rest in peace, Cubby. That guy was
he's part of Disc Golf Monthly.
Yeah, Disc Golf Monthly. Yeah.
Okay, so he's under that umbrella, but like specifically, he was kind of like the superstar because the ace thing that he had going on. When I first started playing, and my friends for the most part did not know what disc golf was. The ones that did would always ask me, "Have you played disc golf with Cubby?" And like that, they thought of him as like, they thought Cubby was the GOAT, you know?
Yeah.
And like I was like, this guy's not the GOAT, but he's definitely a very important figure because he's bringing a lot of attention, and he's doing a really cool thing. But yeah, I mean, that's, you know, there's so many people in that Mount Rushmore of production and of entertainment. But yeah, dude, it's hard. It would be hard to argue that anyone is more influential thus far in the sport than this brand. I would have to say.
Well, yeah, that certainly includes all of us, and I think we'd make a pretty handsome Mount Rushmore. It wouldn't be on the main disc golf Mount Rushmore, but it would be like, I don't know, is there a mountain next to Mount Rushmore that's like the next 4 presidents that would have been Mount Dripmore? Oh, God.
Mount Rushless.
Oh boy.
I think all this conversation is doing for me is making me feel more and more sure that I got to win a couple more things. I'm getting work. I think I got more work to do. There's too many names. I can't.
Here.
I can't rest. I can't rest just yet.
No, we got a long ways to go. There's so many people that aren't in there. Just as far as even players that I would like to say that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, the first 2 that come to mind for me is Steve Rico and Brian Schweberger. Like, those 2 dude. Brian Schweberger just played his 700th tournament or something crazy. Like, are you kidding me?
That's nuts.
Like, mind-blowing statistics that are just like, what? He has like, he's only a few wins shy of being the winningest player of all time ever. He's coming up
Lane Kinger in that battle, and he's coming up on the win number 300. 300 wins combined with MPO and Open, and all-time great, all-time like North Carolina, definitely he's on the Mount Rushmore from North Carolina disc golfers, and there's a lot of Mount Rushmores, but the one in North Carolina is I think it's in Mount Mitchell up in the Appalachia. But yeah, he's incredible.
He has more wins than all of us put together. He might have more tournaments played than all of us put together. That's nuts.
Yeah, and then so you say all that. You say all that about Schwebe, he's just so awesome, and you think, okay, this guy's been around forever. He might, he's got all these accolades and titles and wins, and it might have kind of changed him a little bit or whatever. But I will say that like it hasn't, because we got lucky enough. Me and Jerry did. Some of we did the Monday qualifying USDGC. We just said, you know what, we'll charge it to the game. Like, we're going to lose. We're not getting that money back. That's not getting rolled over into a USDGC registration. Jerry, I really thought could have done it. But we're sitting there on the tee. We had a twosome. And they were like, oh, your third guy's not here. It's going to screw, all this stuff. And Henry Childress, who's amazing at running Monday qualifying, among many other things. We were trying to scramble and kind of find a solution, and Schwebe's just standing there like, hey, I'll play. And we're like, what, you want to jump on with us? Like, two camera guys, like 960 rated. Jerry's higher than that, but like, we're just a couple of AMs, and he's like, yeah, it'd be fun. And he played the entire round with us just because we needed a third, and it was so helpful. Like, I was more nervous than maybe I've ever been in my life. As soon as we got on hole 1, and I'm like, I'm on the tee of hole 1 at USDGC. I know it's Monday qualifying, but it feels the same as like what I feel like being a player would. I was so nervous, and he's like, no, man, it's fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. And I'm just like, every 6-foot putt was like, I'm going to miss it. And like, I parred the first 2 holes. I birdied the third hole. Like, I was 1 down at one point, and I'm like, what's happening right now? And he's like, so encouraging. He was like, yeah, man, like, it's not that bad. Like, and I was just like, so you're saying all these things about Schwebe. He's been in the game so long. He's like at the top of the game, like legacy type, status. And then the same guy is like hopping on with a couple of AMs and just being so helpful. And like, I'll never forget that, because I already knew Schwebe, and like we've always been cool with him, but like, he didn't have to do that. He wasn't registered for, like to be on our card, and he just jumped in and like made the best of it. And we had a great time. It was an honor to be able to play in any sense, much less like an actual competitive round where he didn't make it feel like that. He knew how nervous I was, and he was like, he took that pressure off so that I could try to play better.
We could do an entire sideshow just based on Schwebe stories. Honestly, not many more influential people in this region to so many players, not just to myself, but so many up and coming players than Brian Schweberger. Like just class act. When you look at, and we have spent this whole time talking about Schwebe. Steve Rico's done the same thing for people out west. He's been playing since he was, one of the youngest Open champions of all time. I think he won his first Open tournament when he was 13 years old. Something just absolutely crazy. But Schwebe is like, he really captures the fun essence of the sport, the thing that makes it continuously amaze us and captivate us. And he brings that energy every single time he goes and plays. Like, it's like, I've never played with him and been like, man, he was grumpy today. Like, he just doesn't have it. It's just like kind of annoying, because it's like, where is that? Like, he just loves life when he's on the course, and it's just infectious.
Yeah,
it's great. But Steve Rico,
put him in.
Yeah, hopefully before any of this conversation that we've had today, it's like,
there's a huge. I mean, Nate Doss, Avery Jenkins, David Fehlberg, the list goes on and on and on.
Brad Hammock.
And that's not even including the people who are just putting the whipping stick to us every weekend. Paul McBeth, Ricky Wysocki, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, these guys are like, we're so far behind this thing. Like,
is Stokely is Scott Stokely in the Hall of Fame yet?
I don't know.
We're not getting in, if we're lucky, until we're 70. Like, it's just like
75.
Another conversation.
Well, I'll be 6. I'll be 66.
Yeah, I don't want to be 60.
Oh my god,
this is ridiculous.
Yuli's hanging on to that 4-year gap, man.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that's okay. So I know we need to move on to this and kind of wrap this thing up. But like really quickly, was it one of y'all that mentioned before that Kenny got in while he was still like playing, right? Like, what do you think that would do if you did find out like you're still in like what you feel like is your prime? Do you think that like mentally would kind of mess with you, like that they're already putting that on you and you feel like you're not even done? Like, like, or what maybe did it do to him? Like, I don't know if anybody has any.
If they put me in now, I'd be like, yes, all right.
Dude, I might.
I did it.
If I get apparently, if you get in early like that, you might ring off a few world titles. So put me in tomorrow.
Send me in there, baby. Let's go, dude.
Yeah.
I've got a disc or two to donate.
Yeah, let me get 8 more or 8 first ones.
Yeah, seriously. I want to win my first world title 8 times. From here on out.
Here's a great debate. Would you give up every single one of your wins for a world title?
Oh, two different
wait,
answers.
hold on.
No, Jerm already answered. That was his gut reaction.
Yep.
I've had this conversation with Yuli a lot, and he's kind of done that thing where he like says something enough times that like I disagree with, that like the 50th time he says it, I'm just like, yeah, that's my idea. I want to do that. No, I love everything that's happened in my career exactly the way it's happened. All the boneheaded mistakes I've made, all the things that I've done that I regret have led to the point where I've learned from them and grown, and I wouldn't change a single thing. A world title would mean the world to me, but it wouldn't change the way that I feel about myself or my career. It would just be something that would it would be another like a next level. Like I've already hit my shoot for the stars goals in the sport, and really there's only one left that I haven't hit, and there's one that's like the next galaxy, and that's the world championship. Like I feel like if I hit that, I'd be like, okay, what? That's it. Like I can go ahead and lay down and be done. Like
I thought you were gonna say being on both microphones during commentary. I thought that was what the
he already does that. Oh,
see you later, Jerm. I thought that's what he was gonna say. He was like, if I could somehow be on commentary simultaneously having a conversation with myself.
Before he gets back, can you imagine how many boneheaded mistakes he's made, like in his whole career? When he talks about that, I mean, gosh,
seriously, so many mistakes.
That's the mountain.
That's a Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, dude. That's what the foundation of it, and they carve out the faces from the top. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. Oh man. Okay, we were shooting for an hour. We're well over that, so I think it's about time. We're obviously going to have more episodes after this one. Thank you so much to all 2,400. We still have basically the same audience that has stuck with us this entire time. So thank you everyone for just being so supportive. We're so excited to have brought SHOWMEZ back. I know it's a new format, but I really loved the way this went. I thought it was great. We had some great topics up for discussion. So we appreciate it. We're definitely going to have more of that. I guess we're going to leave all of you with we have a really special treat for everyone. You saw the last topic was called 80s Vibes. 80s Vibes is kind of like what you saw the shirt and the graphics and how we kind of played off that. And it inspired our very own Follow Flight Mike to create something really special. I'm really excited to show you. So as we sign off, Jerm's already sampled the track. He's asking for the ringtone. You know,
y'all wait. Boom.
So
Boom.
we're gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jerm. Thank you, Yuli. Thank you, Nate, for joining for the season premiere of season 2. Yuli, I hope how did you feel when like we brought you on and we let you have a little, like, it wasn't all like making fun of Yuli, and you got
it's been amazing. It's been amazing, guys.
I encourage you to go back and look at the comments, Yuli. There's a ton of Breen jokes that you need to go,
I've been looking at them. They called us the Breen team at one time. Like it's good stuff out there.
Somebody super chatted $50 as a pre-order for the Breen shirt. I think it said refried Breens or something. I don't know what it said.
Oh, dude, I
it's
love it.
Amazing.
You
It's
guys
been
are
amazing,
seriously,
guys.
y'all are the best. Like, it's so stupid. I love it.
I can't wait for the season, but this is our warm up to the season, so I hope all of you are enjoying it. We'll have more to come next week. Join us Thursday night again, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. What is that in Hawaii time, Jerm?
It's 10 o'clock here. It's 5 o'clock Hawaiian.
Okay, so 5 o'clock Hawaiian for everyone over there. But again, thank you everyone for joining us. We're gonna leave you now with a very special treat from Follow Flight Mike as we play our Founders Club list. Huge thank you to those over at patreon.com/JomezPro that have supported us through thick and thin, through 2020 and beyond. We really appreciate it. We could not do it without your support. This entire broadcast is possible because of the continued support from our Patreon family. So without further ado, roll that beautiful Breen footage, Mike.
It's great. It's great to see you guys.
Here goes. Thank you all. Good night. Enjoy the song. Go over to patreon.com/JomezPro. You can hear the whole thing.